Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. The colorful history of reggae is loaded with the great, the exciting, and sometimes odd. Like when the great Lee Scratch Perry totally unraveled and shut down his legendary studio, Black Ark, at the very peak of his success. Or a city in the heart of Brazil called São Luís do Maranhão that is the most reggae crazy city on the planet. But I was shocked to my bone marrow when I found out that none other than martial arts master and action movie star Steven Seagal at the very dawn of the new millennium actually transitioned into a reggae and dancehall artist. When I first heard it, I thought it had to be some kind of joke until I saw a video of the man himself at a Sound Clash event up there on stage with Ninja Man and Elephant Man doing his thing. When I dug deeper, I discovered he took an epic month-long trip to Jamaica to soak up the culture and record some reggae songs of his own. Then at the very peak of his popularity, his presence set Kingston alight and buzzing as he, Beenie Man and Wyclef Jean would paint that town red. It was a whole month of music, martial arts and mayhem as the actor set up his base on the island en route to making what he wanted to be a classic reggae album. Let's take a look at how Steven Seagal went to Jamaica and became a reggae star for a month. Well, to begin with, he may have gone public with his love for reggae in 2001, but Seagal's interest in reggae reportedly went back to the 1970s. However, his active participation actually took off in 1990 while making the gritty action movie Marked for Death. In that film, Seagal plays a DEA agent who declares war on a terrifying Jamaican drug dealing posse in America led by a ruthless Don and voodoo priest called Screwface. In that flick, his character battles that gang from Chicago all the way to the hills of Jamaica. The movie is rated as one of his best and featured a nice soundtrack with reggae songs from Peter Tosh, Shabba Ranks, and Jimmy Cliff. In fact, the very last song, John Crow by Jimmy Cliff, featured Seagal on the vocals and also co-writer. So when he got the idea to explore his musical talents with a couple of reggae songs in the year 2000, it wasn't on random whim, but the result of 10 years marinating in Jamaican music. After the release of his hit movie Exit Wounds, alongside hip-hop star DMX in March 2001, he decided to do something about it. He wrote a couple of songs and approached ex-Fugees member and hip-hop producer Wyclef Jean to work with him on the project. Seagal wanted to truly capture the vibe, and to do that properly, he got the brainwave to record the music in Jamaica's top studio. But first, he would need to immerse himself in the island's culture if he really wanted to communicate it in a song. So before the end of March that year, he and Wyclef flew into Kingston, and the first person that he sought out to be his guide on the island, co-producer and muse, was Beenie Man, who by then was arguably the #1 artist in Jamaica, having just bagged the Grammy for Best Reggae Album for his project Art and Life. It was Beenie Man who took him under his wing and carried him right into the beating heart of Kingston's music scene. The first place he took him was a spot called The Asylum, the hottest nightclub in Kingston, known for its gritty vibes and dancehall energy. And when they got there, the revelers in that club went nuts with excitement at seeing Steven Seagal in the flesh. Beenie Man also took him along to shows where he was billed to perform, and everywhere they went, it was absolute chaos, and people went wild seeing him, and the actor became the star attraction and was interviewed by Jamaican paper The Daily Gleaner. But it was at an event called Wet Wet 2001 that he drew the most attention when he came on stage during a four-way clash between Beenie Man, Elephant Man, and Ninja Man. He only uttered a few lines into the microphone, but it was enough to get the audience jumping. It was reported that Seagal almost caused a riot when he hung out at the beach with Wyclef playing and singing some Bob Marley tunes on his guitar. After immersing himself in the culture for about 2 weeks, Beenie Man took him and Wyclef to the amazing Shocking Vibe Studios, where many dancehall classics from the 90s had been recorded, and the very same place that Beenie Man's Grammy Award-winning album had been produced. There he settled and recorded songs with reggae legend Toots Hibbert, dancehall queen Lady Saw, Tony Rebel, Lieutenant Stitchie, and Beenie Man, plus a solo cover of Bob Marley's Redemption song. The entire island was shaking and shivering from Seagal fever, and the locals even gave him a nickname, Seagal. After completing the studio sessions, Steven Seagal and Wyclef made their way back to the US. For reasons not very clear to me, that project got stalled once he got back. But the actor's romance with Jamaica didn't slow down one bit, as he immediately began to make plans to return in a few months' time to perform at a benefit concert called the Sashi Experience. True to his word, Steven Seagal and his 5-piece band arrived in Jamaica for the Sashi Experience 2001, where he shared stages with the likes of Rita Marley right there at the James Bond beach at Otto Rios. His album was supposed to drop soon after that, but when he got back to America, he was hit by legal trouble. As the story goes, he was sued by Michael Vanderhoof and 2 other men who alleged that they gave Seagal $600,000 towards the making of the album, as well as the production of a documentary film. The men claimed that Seagal seemed to have no intention of completing the project. It was this legal battle that put the whole album on ice for 3 whole years. The matter was settled eventually out of court, and finally, the long-awaited album, named Songs from the Crystal Cave, came out in 2004, an eclectic array of blues, rock, and reggae. The songs with Beenie Man and Toots Hibbert, plus his cover of Redemption Song, didn't make the final cut, but 3 reggae songs did. In War, featuring Lieutenant Stitchie, Music, featuring Tony Rebel, and the most popular in Strut, that featured Lady Saw. This album was devoured by critics, who in a nutshell tore it to shreds, especially Seagal's attempt at a Jamaican accent. But despite the bad reviews, the man kept making music, though he never tried to record reggae again. His second and last album, Mojo Priest, came out in 2006 and marked the very end of his journey as a recording artist. And though his foray into music is the butt of jokes these days, I believe his finest hour as a musical artist were those 4 weeks he spent shaking up Kingston, when for a brief moment, Steven Seagal, Aikido master and action movie star, enjoyed the limelight and the warm glow of love as a reggae star. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.